Namaskar. 4 minutes is what we have to establish the question in this flow of question and answers that we use in order to establish Swadharma as a new religion. New may not be the right word, as an alternative religion. That's actually, as I've said, one of the primary objectives of Karmyog for 21st century. Swadharma. Now, we use this format of questions and answers, 4 minutes to establish a question and another 4 minutes to establish an answer. Last few days, I have not been able to record this particular format, these sessions. I was out traveling. Although it's easy these days to keep recording, but it's just when you don't focus on something, you're away from it. So the recording didn't happen, but I did come across a particular question in another context in the last few days, and it had immediately struck me that this is a question that we should apply for Swadharma also, and we should try to answer this question up front. Now, what is the question? The question really is based on the concept of exclusion and inclusion. As we know, exclusion is keeping something out of the ambit of something. When we keep something out of something's ambit, we say this is excluded. And including is trying to put something within, taking it inside the parameters or inside the circumference or the periphery or an ambit, whatever we want to call it. So this question today is about the inclusionariness or the exclusionariness. Now, these are not exact English words, but I'm just coining them. So the nature is Swadharma exclusionary or inclusion? Now, is it the words really are exclusive or inclusive? Or how inclusive is Swadharma? At some point, I had mentioned when we were, earlier in one of our question answer sessions, I had mentioned that Swadharma is that dharma which really includes each and everyone's method of following their religion. Is that religion which is really as inclusionary as we can think of. I had said that. But does that mean that there is no exclusion in Swadharma? Let me put the question in a different way. Are we saying that anything and everything goes? That there is nothing that is out of the purview of Swadharma? That there is no one who we can banish from the territory of Swadharma? Can we ever say that, oh, this person is not a Swadharmi, is not a follower of Swadharma religion? Can we say that? That is really the question that we are exploring. That who is not a Swadharmi? Now, this particular issue has been addressed when any other religion has been established. We can see that Islam, for example, there is a term called kafir, which really is a term to denote all those who are not believers. Non-believer is really the term that's used in Christianity to denote those who do not follow Christianity or do not believe in the tenets of Christianity. Similar to that is you would find in every religion. Hinduism, in fact, has a criticism. A lot of people criticize Hinduism as a religion which is kind of very vague, they say, because, and I'm not going into debate on this with Hindus, that whether it is vague or not, but there is a criticism. A lot of people say, well, if someone who's praying to Shiva is also a Hindu, someone who's following, so because it's polytheistic in some ways, in certain way, so there is although some would really say it's one of the most non-polytheistic religions, but because it really believes in Advaita, etc. But in that sense, there is a critique on Hindus as to who is not a Hindu. In the same way, what we want to talk about today is who is not a Swadharmi. Now, we have run out of the 4 minutes for the question, so we turn this around and try to explore and get an answer to this. Who is not a Swadharmi? In order to answer this question, we must once again delve into The word itself, as we can see, it is made up of these two factions. One is Swa and one is Dharma. And we have also said that Dharma, which really means religion, the antithesis of that, which is Adharma, is also contained within this. Swa Adharma. So first of all, we have established that someone who is non-religious, now we're not talking about atheism here. Non-religious does not mean atheist. Let's not confuse things there. Non-religious here means someone who is immoral, who is not righteous, who is not sensitive towards what is good, what is true, what is beautiful, who does not have a sense of morality, of ethics. Someone who's unethical. That is what we call adharma. So someone who's practicing or by mistake doing something which is immoral or unethical is not following dharma, and hence cannot be said that he or she is a swadharmi. So when you are an adharmi, unethical, immoral, then you are a swadharmi, but not a swadharmi. You are using yourself, all the faculties of yourself, to do unethical stuff, is not someone who will be included in the purview of Swadharma. So that's clear. One exclusion. Anyone you cannot claim that I am a Swadharmi if you are actually practicing or by mistake at any point of time fall prey to adharma or immorality. So that having, now we also need to clarify here before we get too far, is that it's not related to one individual or one person. The same person may be doing righteous acts, ethical acts, moral acts most of the time, but one act, if it is immoral, unkind, not ethical, that one action is not a Swadharmi action. So when we are talking of Swadharma, we really don't talk about individuals, but we tend to talk about the actions. And that too is in the way that I am looking at Swadharma. So that's my sense of Swadharma. That's how I am coming to Swadharma. So because it's also so much integrated with the concept of Karmyog, so we are saying that it's not really the individual who's being judged here, who's being stamped as Swadharmi or not, but the action or the attitude or the behavior or that particular momentary pattern is being stamped as Swadharmi or not. The other factor really, if we move away from the dharma part of Swadharma, is the Swa part. And that is very important, because even if you are doing something ethically, just because someone has told you that this is ethical, but you have not applied your own self to really come to the realization, come to the judgment, come to the feeling that this is righteous, this is ethical, this is moral. If you have not used your own faculties to reach there, but you're doing it just because you've been told to, then you are not a Swadharmi. Then you are a Paradharmi, which means you are following someone else's sense of dharma, someone else's realization of what it is to be moral, etc. So Swadharmi is one who is also using his or her own faculties, all the faculties that one has, one's physicality, one's energy, one's mentality, one's attitude, one's spirit. If all these faculties we are using in order to come to our own clear conclusions, beliefs about what is religious, what is not, what is moral, what is not, what is dharma, what is adharma, and then we are practicing it, then we are truly Swadharmi. And we must say that there will be levels of this Swadharmi, like how ardently, how passionately, how clearly, with how much insight I am following my Swadharma can vary. And I will be pegged at different levels, at different ranks according to this, depending on how much Swa I am being able to bring to my Dharma. So that really is kind of a beginning of trying to answer this complex question. I hope that makes some sense to you. So much for today. Namaskar.